am Miss V, the travel missus, and as my name, I know, baby, and as my name suggests, I love to travel. I am the travel missus. I love to travel. And here's the thing, after traveling from one place to another, right? And what I mean is after traveling from Chile to Egypt to Colombia to France to Spain to London to these different places, then after a while you get to thinking in your head, it's like, hey, you know what if I just, not bopped around to different places, but what if I choose the absolute travel misses? Yes, let's go, laser. But what if I choose to actually pick one of these places and stay there for a while, right? What if I pick one of these places and stay there for a while, and that place has become Mexico? All right. So because I've been traveling here and there and wherever, I have chosen Mexico to be my home. All right. So what I'm doing right now is prepping for my move, my more long-term stay to Mexico. And you guys know that. You've seen my posts and things like that. But here's the thing. All of this is possible with a passport. It all starts with a passport. If you guys have been on my page, then you have seen about 10 to 11 posts simply about getting a passport. And if you don't have a passport, I break it down for you exactly how to get it. Here's the thing. Here's my belief. All right. My belief is that if you are a U.S. citizen and you don't have a passport, there is no reason for it. There is no reason for any of us here not to have a passport. Why not? And let me say this, because some people may think, oh, well, I ain't going nowhere. Need a passport for what? All right. Number one, you need a passport for options. Maybe you don't use it right away, but you want to still have the option to do so. Let me tell you this. My mother's in her 60s, right? My mother's in her 60s, and she never thought of going to Mexico or to Spain or any place, right? She's been brought up in North Carolina. She's been here all her life, and she just never thought that she would be one that would be traveling abroad. Now, of course, she figured, okay, maybe I'll go to Florida at some point. Maybe I'll go to, I don't know, New York at some point or something like this. So she had these thoughts, but that's in the States already, right? She really didn't have the thought of, oh, I'll be going to Mexico. But guess what? She gave birth to a baby girl. She gave birth to a baby girl that would do anything, right? And one of those anythings is moving to another country. And so where she thought that she would never be one to travel abroad, right, to Egypt or to France, to London, she never thought that she would be one to do so, but she gave birth to a child who decided that she wanted to move to Mexico. And so now guess what? Now she is open to moving to Mexico. Now she's willing to move to Mexico. And that's, I'm sorry, she's not willing to move. She's only willing to visit. Let me clear that up. She's not going to be moving to Mexico. She's just willing to visit me in Mexico. But what I'm saying is, initially, she never thought that she'd be traveling abroad. Right now, my brother, who spent time in the military, he has traveled abroad, but that's different. Because when you're in the military, you are told where to go, how long you're going to stay there. You're told when to come back. You're told where to go next, right? And a lot of times when you're told where to go, a lot of times everything is like the logistics is worked out for you, right? So in this case, it's not necessarily you are doing this on your own. This is you're in the military, you're giving service, and the country is telling you to do this, do that, to go here, go there, things like that. So of course my brother will be traveling, but there's still not her saying, okay, well, you know what, because he's traveling, I am too. That's not the case, right? That's military, so that's something different. But it's different when you yourself say, no, I'm not in the military, but I want to travel. And in my travels, I found that this is the place I want to move to more long term, right? And so she never thought that that person would be me, her daughter, and the one that gets her traveling abroad. And so I say that the same, if you are someone who didn't think that you would need, you never saw yourself traveling, right? So you didn't think that you need to travel a passport. Well, let me tell you that you are wrong. Just like my mother, there are some situations that will come up that you did not foresee coming up. There go my girl, Keish. Welcome back in the room tonight, girlfriend. Good to have you here. There are some things that you may have not have foreseen, but all of a sudden now you are facing the opportunity to travel abroad. And so don't be the person that says, what I need a passport for? I'm not going to be going anywhere. Wrong, right? Don't say you may not be going anywhere, because you never know. My mother never knew that I'd be moving to Mexico and then she'd be coming to Mexico, right? She thought she would just stay within these boundaries, within these borders of the U.S. But now she's seeing that that's not going to be the case for her, right? So if you do not have a passport, I highly recommend that you get one, right? And I recommend, I don't have my passport with me now, but I recommend that you get the passport book, because that is the thing that has the least, or that has no limitations with the passport book. Now, the only thing with the passport book is that sometimes if you have a U.S. passport and you go to places like Chile, or it may be different now, but when I went a couple of times and I stayed 2 weeks and then I stayed a couple of months, you don't need a visa, right? If I go to Colombia, I just show up with my passport. At the time, if I went to London, I just showed up with my passport. So there are some countries you can visit, just show up with your passport. But there are sometimes, my girl Keish came through with a daily heart, me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But there are sometimes you do need to show up with the passport and a visa. So I made a small video on this, but for example, oh, here's my passport. Two different things. So I made a video on this, but I'm about to just tell you again. When I went to Egypt, there is such thing. So when you're getting visas, sometimes you can pre-order your visa online. It's called an e-visa. But then other times, maybe you don't do it ahead of time online. You can get your visa at the airport. And one of those is getting the, let me just turn the mirror on. One of those is getting your visa for Egypt. So if you look here, this is the stamp that was placed into my passport when I traveled to Egypt. I got this at the airport. It's called Visa Upon Arrival, meaning you can get a visa at the airport right before you leave out of the airport. And this cost $25, and this was years ago. I recently looked and the cost is still the same, $25. And they will stamp this visa into your passport. And that is what's called Visa Upon Arrival, meaning that you are not, turn it back around. You are not getting this online before you go. You arriving at the country, you go to, a lot of times it's near, what you call it, the immigration, or the immigration officer is near there. A lot of times you can get the Visa Upon Arrival. Right. But then I mentioned this in the post too. When I went to Bali, that was not the case. For Bali, I went to a website so that I could order my visa online. It was called an e-visa. There is a site, and if you guys want it, just DM me the word Bali, or at the bottom, there may be a way to send me a DM. I'm not sure, but put in the word Bali, and I will know that you're looking for the site to get your e-visa for Bali. But so I went on that website. I paid $35 to get the e-visa for Bali, and I got that before I even took the trip. So it was a couple days before I went to Bali. I got the e-visa. And so you may want to give it a few days, so to be sure that you get the email in time. For me, I got the email that same night, right? If not, then that next day. But I got the email pretty quick. But give it a couple days to be able to get that. But even still, even before you get to the visa part of traveling, you still need the passport. That's why I'm a strong advocate of getting your passport. Even if you don't have any plans on traveling, just get it, because you know what, with the passport, it gives you options. And what do they say? If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready, right? So if you get the passport now, even though you don't think you're going to be traveling, even though you don't have a plan to travel, you never know when someone might be like, oh, matter of fact, I was watching a movie right before I came on live. And it was this old, like a B-rated movie. I don't think it ever made the theaters, but Vivica A. Fox was in the movie, and it was a movie about. It was a Christmas movie, and yes, I am the person that watch Christmas movies even in July, August, September. That's me. Okay, it's always a good time to watch a good Christmas movie, no matter what month it is. That's just me. But so okay, Laser, listen, Christmas movies all year round, all right. But in this movie, it was two girls. One was Vivica A. Fox, and one was a white lady. They were best friends, and the white lady had some tickets that she could use, that she won to go on a cruise, and she didn't have anyone that she was dating, so she decided to take her best friend, Vivica A. Fox. And so Vivica was not expecting this, right? But she eventually accepted it, right? So what if maybe there is someone who won some tickets, right? They won a trip for two to Mexico, and you never thought you'd go to Mexico, but they wanted some tickets to Mexico, and now you are presented with the opportunity to go to Mexico. But if you don't have your passport, you can't go to Mexico. Right? I'm just saying Mexico. It could be any place. But if you don't have your passport, now you can't take the opportunity for this free trip that was won, right? And so what I'm saying is that these opportunities may come to you, and you want to be able to do so, right? So go get your passport. Not only that, listen, with the way things are in the States, you may want to have an option, right? The reason I got the residency card is because a lot of times when you're in the States, you're in this hustle and bustle mentality, right? Hustle and bustle, get it, gotta get it. You super stressed out, you hate your job, but the finances are tight. And but here's the thing. If you can begin to start an online business, right? And if you don't have one, I can definitely help you get a travel business, right? You can start an online business, begin to make money online, because abroad you don't need as much money as you need in the States, and your dollar will stretch a whole lot further. So a lot of people are getting the online work, right, and moving abroad on that. But even retirees that say, you know what, I'm about to retire, and when they retire, a lot of them, if they're older and retired, they may be getting Social Security. Others may be drawing a pension check. Do you know there are people that's living in Mexico now that's living off their pension check? They could never do that in the States. But in Mexico, in certain places in Mexico, they can, and they are loving it. They are loving it, having to not have to go to Walmart and be a greeter to make some extra income to supplement what you're already getting, right? This is not a time that you have to, hey, thank you so much, Gigi, for the heart meme. This is not a time that you have to, listen, if you're 62, don't nobody want to be 62 and being in somebody's Walmart because they have to get a little bit more money, right, to make ends meet, right? When you could just take your check, go down to Mexico, right, and live off of your $1,500 per month, and live comfortably, not like you're struggling, and live comfortably. People are doing this, right? Otherwise, people are being coaches online, consultants online. People are making money through this very app, through TikTok, going live, doing battles, doing TikTok shop affiliate, doing things on just this app alone to make money, right? And it can stretch in other countries. So the point is, get you a passport, right? There is no reason that you should not have a passport, right? Even if you think you're not going to travel, get it, right? It gives you options. And one day you may say, you know what, let me put this passport to use, right? I'm always an advocate for getting a passport. You never know when you're going to need it, or when the opportunity may come that you can use it. Now, for me, even though I love traveling, hence my name, The Travel Missus, I love traveling, but I decided to settle on Mexico. I want to live in Mexico, and because of that, I went ahead and applied for and got approved for my visa, my residency visa for living in Mexico. After you apply and get the approval, then you have to go into Mexico to exchange your visa that's in your passport for the tarjeta, for the card. So I do have my visa residency card. At first I got the 1-year visa, but can you believe that my year is almost up? So I'm going to have to go and, hey, thank you so much. Thank you for the roses, Gigi. Yes, let's go, Gigi. Hand clap for Gigi. coming up at the end of this year, I'm going to have to go back to Mexico to renew my visa. This time it'll be renewed for 3 years. So I'll be a temporary resident in Mexico for 3 more years, and then I can exchange that for a permanent resident in Mexico. And the goal is to live there legally. And do you guys know, initially I only wanted to live there for 6 months to a year, right? I only wanted to get like that experience. But then it changed. It changed to, well, you know what? Let me just do a whole year. And then it went from that to, well, Dad, what if I'm there a whole year and I like it so much I want to stay? So I may as well go ahead and secure this by getting the visa now. And that leads me to a question that someone asked on one of my posts. She said, should I go ahead and get the visa now if I plan to retire, if I only plan to retire there, and that takes 10 years? The answer is yes, 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 and yes, because the beautiful thing about getting a residency visa in Mexico is that right now there is no requirement to be in that country for any amount of time. So you can literally fly down, get your residency visa, get your tarjeta, get your card, and then come back to the States and work on prepping for your move, whether that's downsizing, donating, selling things, building an online business, or whatever the case may be. You can take your time to prep for your move, and then later you can move to Mexico, whether it takes 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever the case. In her case, she said that it's about 10 more years before she retires. There is definitely people that are getting residency visas with the intention to retire later in Mexico, but they want to secure the visa now, right? Because you don't know what things may change in the process of getting your visa that may not qualify you down the road. Right now, as a matter of fact, back in March, this was around March 13th to March 14th, there were 9 ladies that had that were going to get their residency visas. 7 of them went at one time. At the time, there was a program put in place called the regularization program, to whereas people were getting the you know how when you go into Mexico, they give you 180 days typically? Well, they were getting a very short amount of time. They were giving like 3 days or so, because once it ran out, you could then apply for a visa under the regularization program. So 7 ladies got in, but these other 2 that were going to come later, after March the 14th, there were some things that changed. And of the 2, one of those ladies were still eligible. The other lady, she was not eligible to get her visa, right? And I'm not sure if she got it now or not, but because that was back in March. So by now, probably she found a way to get her visa. But what I'm saying is that things have a way of changing. And so right now, I recommend, if you have any thought at all about moving to Mexico, living in Mexico, I recommend that you take the necessary steps now to secure your visa so that you can live there later, even if you don't want to live there right now. Because remember, there's no set time. You don't have to you don't have to qualify for the visa by living in country for at least 6 months out of the year. Like, that's no such thing. Get the visa, then go back to wherever you're from and begin your prepping, right? And then when you're ready, then go to Mexico and live there. But you don't have to do it all right now. You understand? You don't have to get the visa and then immediately begin living in Mexico. That's not the way it's set up. And that's a blessing, because in other countries, once you become a resident, right, not even a citizen all the time, once you become a resident, sometimes you're required to stay there 3 months, 6 months, or 2/3 of the year to maintain your residency. You understand? So take advantage of this when it comes to living abroad in Mexico. Take advantage of this because it's an amazing thing, all right? And it can be to whereas you can take your time and plan your move, right, without rushing, right? So anyway, I decided on Mexico for that reason as well. That gave me freedom. Right now, I'm in the process of planning out my move, right? And sometimes I did a live on this, and then I shared a post from my live, but you guys have seen me go through bins of items to find out what I want to give away, what I want to sell, what needs to be thrown away, and things like this. So sorting your items, again, for your plan on moving abroad. Now, I preach moving to Mexico. I'm a little bit biased because that's where I'm going. Now, you can move to any place, right? But I'm biased, so I talk about moving to Mexico. Thank you so much, Laser, for sharing the live and tapping the screen. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We have, let's see, we have gotten it now to 6K. And I'm super grateful for you all for getting us to the 6K. I have to do this because otherwise the numbers tend to blend in. Okay, so that's why I have chosen Mexico. But you can't do any of this. Again, I'm going back to getting your passport. You cannot do any of this unless you have gotten your passport. All right. Now, what about some things that you're doing while prepping? So we've talked about your online business. Okay. Personally, I am a travel agent, so I will be able to, thank you for sharing live. I will be able to make money online in this way, online anywhere in the world. All right. Because I'm a travel business owner, I can book travel for myself and others and get a commission. I can help other people become travel agents and get paid from that as well. And so this is a business that also grants me residual income, because let me tell you something, if I'm being all the way honest, for the past let me see, March, April, May, June, July, August, April, May, June, July, 5 months. For the past 5 months, I haven't really been pushing my travel business, but guess what? I've still been getting paid every single month for my travel business. That's called the residual income. So because I haven't worked for 5 months doesn't mean I can't get paid from my travel business, because residual income is something that you can take advantage of when you join the travel business. There's a lady who is considered a DIT, which is a director in training. Someone in her family passed, a female in her family passed away. And I don't know whether it was an auntie or something like this, but she stopped. Once this person in her family passed away that was very close to her, she stopped working her travel business for 2 months. But how many of you know, for those 2 months that she stopped working, understand that she still got paid for those 2 months that she didn't work her travel business. That's because of the residual income, which is amazing if you want to live abroad. Imagine not having to really put in much effort in your business, but your business still pays you every single month, right? That's the residual income that I'm talking about. And she was able to, I'm benefiting from that. She was able to benefit from that. And being in a business like this, you can definitely benefit from that too. So I will definitely have my travel business so that I can have that residual income coming in to sustain me financially for living abroad. But that speaks to the point of going ahead and getting some type of way that you know can earn you income, even if you have to build it, right? That's the beauty of the visa for Mexico. It allows you to not have to stay there right away. You can come back and begin to build your business, because your business may not make money the first few months, right? But if you continuously build it, it'll begin to make money. And then as it builds, now you know you can move on over to Mexico and have some income coming in, right? Or that or either, you know, live off your retirement check. Okay. So that's just amazing. But the same thing with freelancers, right? If you are someone who can make templates for others to use with Canva, if you are someone who can run someone's social media page for them, listen, you can go to your small businesses in your communities and talk to them and say, hey, I noticed that I don't see an online presence for you, right? And then make your own contract, whatever you want to, but just loosely speaking, for 100, 300 a month, I don't really know, I will create and maintain 2 social media accounts for you, right? All you have to do is send me pictures or send me the deals that you're having or send me whatever, right? And I will maintain this. I will come out here. I will capture content. I don't even know what the going pay for this should be, right? But could you be someone that maintains social media sites for people? You could, right? Could you be someone that creates posts, right? Because some people they have a social media presence, but they're too busy to make content. Could you be the one to make content for them, right? You definitely could. People do pay for this kind of thing. So whatever it is that you do, this is freelance work, contract work, whatever it is that you do, you can find a way to do the same thing online and make money for it. So that's one way. Now, also, I want to tell you about a situation that I found myself in when it comes to trying to date in Mexico. In my mind, thank you so much for tapping the screen. If you guys are in here, please tap the screen and get us out, because I want the live to reach more people So if you're in, please tap the screen. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I remember saying to myself, I wanted to move to Mexico, and I wanted to be able to build relationships with the locals. And I remember one time I was in Cancun, and I didn't have long to stay in Cancun, but when I was in Cancun, I said, okay, well, you know what? The Book of Faces has, so for example, if you want to sell items on the Book of Faces, there's the marketplace for that, right? If you want to just have a social media account on the Book of Faces, you can do that too. But also there's a dating side to the Book of Faces. So I remember not doing anything with it, but I just simply set it up for dating. But I was only in Cancun for only a few days, right? So I set it up, but then I left it. And you can definitely like turn it off, put it on pause. So then when I went to Merida to go get my visa, as a matter of fact, I said, okay, well, I'll be here for a week, right? I have time to use this and to see how it's going to work. So I remember turning on the dating side of the Book of Faces, and I remember having to not redo it, but change my location from being in Cancun to then being in Merida. And so after I changed that, I began to kind of just go through and see like, okay, who's in town? Who can I meet? Right. And so there were two guys that were on there that I said, okay, well, maybe I can meet with these two guys. And we did agree to meet. Now, remember when I told y'all that I am a travel agent, and I also, and travel agents, you may also hear team of agents. Like I am a part of a team of travel agents. And so all of us were online one night on this very platform on TikTok. So on this night, I had agreed to meet with someone in the park, right? And so that's where we were going to meet up at first. And so, but at the same time, that night, I remember being on this very app, and I was one of the people on the team was on live. So we was going in there, tapping up the screen, throwing, at the time, the Daily Heart Me wasn't a big thing, right? But we would go in there, tap up the screen, drop a few gifts. And so I remember being in the live, tap, tap, like laser, thank you for tapping the screen, tap, 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 tap. I remember being in the live, tapping the screen, and then I realized, oh shoot, I'm late for my date, right? So then I had to hurry up and come off of the live and then get dressed, right? I put a dress on, and then I went to this downtown place where I was supposed to meet him. So I'm looking around for someone to be there waiting. I'm looking around to see someone that's waiting, but I don't see that. So I'm looking around and I said, well, I don't really see anyone that looks like they're waiting for someone. So let me get back on my phone, right? So I can send a message. So I tried to send the message, right? But the message didn't go through. Now, here's the thing. A lot of the times in the parks, I was in Merida, so I can't speak for every place in Mexico, but a lot of times in the parks, there's Wi-Fi. So at first, when I tried to send a message and it didn't go through, I said, now, what's happening? Maybe it's the Wi-Fi. So I'm disconnecting and connecting again to Wi-Fi, and I try to send a message again like, hey, are you here? Or, what's going on? It wasn't going through. And I was like, well, what's happening here? Why aren't my messages going through? And so then I said, well, let me just test the Wi-Fi connection by seeing, can I get to a website, or can I message someone else and the message goes through? So I tested it. Message went through. I go back to this guy, try to send another message. It did not go through. So apparently, and granted, I want to say 22 minutes. So I was like 20 minutes or so late. So I understand why he would do this. But apparently he blocked me because he thought that I was playing games with him. He never said this. I don't know. But maybe he thought I was playing games with him, that I stood him up or something like this. And he was like, nope, not messing with you no more. And went straight to like, boom, blocking me. So this date didn't work out. But I will say that one of the ways that you can just have fun when you go to another country, turn on a dating app and seeing. There's a lady right now. She's in. I don't think she's in Merida. I think she's in. I want to say Concal or another like city not too far from Merida. And as a matter of fact, she came with her kids and her dad. But now she has been dating back and forth, and she was sharing some of her experiences. Sometimes she's been on dates to where she's had to use her Google Translate during the entire date. She had to use her Google Translate, and look, that happens. Depending on what you like. Hey, thank you so much. I forgot that Beaufort or something. I didn't see the name, but thank you for tapping the screen, and thank you, Laser, for tapping the screen. But yeah, it happens in that way. Sometimes you have your whole date literally on Google Translate. All right, translating what each other has to say. So, but it's a way to get you out there and mingle with the locals and things like that. But really, one of the things, I said that story because I thought it was a funny story that I got blocked by someone who thought I was trying to play them or something like this. But what I'm really getting to is community, right? And so I would say that if you are planning to move abroad, I highly recommend going to a group on the Book of Faces, or getting connected even on this very platform that we're on right now, getting connected with someone that you know is going to be moving there also. Getting connected with someone that may already be there, you can link up with them later. Because also, it's one thing to move abroad for to make your money stretch, to not stress as much, to feel safer, right? All of these are valid things, right? But we are also social beings. We're social creatures, and we want to socialize and mingle. Maybe we've been tired of people. Sometimes, you can just get tired of people, and sometimes you just want to be by yourself for a moment. But that's because you're like super stressed out, and a lot of things are happening with you, right? But once you clear that up, we're social beings. We want to be in community, right? And so a way to do that is to go ahead and get on these interweb streets, right? Because then you're going to be able to maybe find you a tribe, find you a couple people that you can at least get some drinks with, right? At least see what they're about, because that's another thing that makes a trip worth it. It's your people, it's your community. I remember going to Chile. I was in Chile for a couple of months. I was a part of an immersion program. And I think that one of the reasons that made that immersion program super fun for me is being there with so many other people from so many other different places. And we're all there together, learning together, not just learning the language together, but also learning the city together, learning how to navigate the metro system together. Learning about different foods together. So we were in community. That was my community. The students, myself and the other students at this school, we were the community, and we did things together. So whether it was going to the mall, going out to eat, going to bars or clubs, like we did it together. And that was a thing that I really did enjoy, right? And so I will say that being able to go ahead and start building your community, go ahead and start talking to people that are people that you can connect with when you get to where you're going, that's going to be so good, right? And then find those that are interested in what you like. So maybe you are someone who likes yoga, right? Find the people that are into that health and wellness stuff. Talk to them, get to know them, and plan to link up when you guys get to the same area. Hey, Jermaine, thank you for coming in and tapping the screen. Find them, get linked up with them, and that can be a part of your community. If you are into martial arts, I remember seeing a video of this girl one time. I don't know what part of Mexico she was in, but she had moved to Mexico, and she said she never thought that she would ever get into martial arts, but she found this studio. She started going, and Jermaine, thank you so much for the heart, me honey. Thank you. She found me. I gotta call you back too, Jermaine. I haven't forgotten about you. I just had to get on live for tonight. She not found me. She found this studio, this martial arts studio, and she loved it. And she began to keep going. She never saw herself doing that. But listen, life unlocked abroad. Live your life unlocked abroad. Even though she didn't think she would ever do it, she did it and she loved it. And she did that by moving abroad. By moving abroad, getting all the gunk out. What I mean by the gunk, I mean the stresses, the things that trigger you, right? And there is some work on yourself. If I don't recommend moving abroad to like run away from something, right? I do recommend that you find out what is going on with you, right? Mentally, your stresses. I do recommend finding out what's going on with you, because even if it's like a money issue, like your money issue will still follow you. If you have bad management skills with money, you're going to have it no matter where you are. So I do recommend to get down to the basics of, what is going on with me? How can I fix these situations in my life, right? But then, I don't know. Let me also say that something about going abroad. I sometimes feel like a new person when I go abroad. I sometimes feel like I feel more outgoing, right? I feel more, and I don't know, maybe you feel like you're in a rut where you are, and just getting out just awakens you. I don't know, but I feel like a new person. I'm more outgoing. I am more interested in learning. I don't know. I just feel like a new person, but I love it. I love it at the same time. But yes, community. You can start building your community even before you move. And so that's a very big thing I want to share with you. Go ahead and start that. Now, also, if you are moving to a country to where you don't speak that language, go ahead and start to learn the language. Okay. Let me see. Let me put, well, I don't want to pin it because I don't have it here with me, but let me pin this one. No, let me not pin it. But anyway, if you look into my orange shopping cart, you're going to see where I have a karaoke machine. This one. All right, let me turn her on, because one way that you can learn is by song.
Bluetooth mode.
Let me turn my microphone on.
Microphone connected. Original voice mode.
One way. Woo. Hello. One way you can learn Spanish or any other language is by song. So I have my karaoke machine here because eventually I'm going to use my karaoke machine to be able to make content, to do like different karaoke when it comes to different songs in Spanish, as a way to make fun content, but also as a way of learning Spanish. So I have it here now just so you guys can see it. It's charging, okay? But that's coming up. Oh, it sounds better now? Whoop, 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 whoop. Okay, so anyway, here in the next few days, you guys can anticipate seeing more of the post that's on my page, and it may be using this one. He said, yes, baby. Ooh, I'm so happy to hear that. So you guys may be seeing more content coming out using my microphone with my karaoke machine. Hey, thank you so much, Jermaine, for the roses. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Because I appreciate you sending me those roses, Jermaine. So yeah, you guys are going to see more content with this karaoke machine, with me singing songs in Spanish, not the whole song, just like little snippets in Spanish, as a way to just have fun with it, but also as a way of learning Spanish by way of song. I believe it's going to be very catchy. There is on Netflix right now, I hope maybe it's still up there, but check out Vivo. V as in Victor, V as in Victor, O. So on Vivo, in the beginning, there's a Kinkajou and this old man, and they're a team. They are a musical team. They love each other. And in the beginning of the movie, which there is some Spanglish happening in there. I like the movie because it helps me with my Spanish, okay? Even though it's mostly English, it still helps with the Spanish. But in the beginning of the movie, let me turn my microphone up by to sing a little something. There's a song that the old man and the Kinkajou sing together. And these are not real words, but it goes like this. Hey, hello, no, lie, hello, lie, hello, lie, and that's what you're going to hear on my post. And within a few more days, I got to figure out what songs I'm going to sing. But I plan on making posts with my karaoke machine, singing songs in Spanish as a way to learn Spanish, but also have fun with my content. Wow. Yes. And I might play around with the settings on the mic.
Magic sound node.
There's different settings on the mic. And so this one doesn't sound too sexy, but hey, it's on here.
Goddess mode.
And this is another setting on the mic. I don't plan on ever using this setting, but it's here.
Baby voice mode.
This is baby voice mode. This is another setting on the mic. You can find it in my showcase.
KTV mode.
ATV mode, you can find this in the showcase.
Original voice mode.
And then back to original mode. So look out for this one.
Microphone disconnected.
All right, so I just turned off my karaoke set, but this is the set that I'm going to be using here in the next few days in my content, just to spruce it up a little bit, have some fun with it, and learn Spanish through song. So anyway, that's the next thing. When you are in another country that speaks another language, it would be so advantageous for you to learn that language so that you can talk to the locals, so that you can speak to those that are on the like street vendors, right? So that you can order the street food, so that you can ask someone for directions and they begin to tell you, and then you guys can have a small conversation. Hey, where is, oh, as a matter of fact, I remember I was in Merida and I went live. Hey, thank you so much for a teacher for the heart me. Thank you. I was in Merida and I was on live, had my phone on my, was it a tripod? I forgot. But thank you for the lightning bolt. Whoop, 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 whoop. I was walking in downtown Merida and I had you all with me, and I remember stopping and asking someone, no, they stopped me. They wanted me to come into their shop, and I was like, nah, I'm not really looking to buy anything other than some food, and what I really want is some pizza. And so Teacher Gen X says, welcome. And what I really wanted was some pizza. So I asked them to tell me how I could get to the nearest pizza spot. So they told me, and it was in Spanglish. Like some was in English, some was in Spanish. But you know, we made out. But that's what I mean. These are moments that, even though it sounds like it's very small moments, that these are our connecting moments. Because what happened then is that he said, hey, and on your way there, you're going to stop by, you're going to go by a shop. There's going to be a man sitting on the outside of the shop. He said, go speak to him. He spent some time in the U.S. And I said, okay, well, I will. Now, typically, I'm not the type that would do that. But again, what I tell y'all, when I'm abroad, like, I'm a new person, right? So I was like, well, shoot, let me go see what this man talking about, since I was recommended to him. And so I did. The guy was literally sitting outside of the shop on my way to the pizza place, just like the guy told me. And I was talking to him and I was letting him know, hey, you know, I'm not just coming to you on my own. You know, the guy at the corner told me about you. And then, you know, he was like, oh, yeah, that's so-and-so. And thanks for stopping by. And I told him that I was on my way to the pizza shop. So anyway, so he did have pretty good English. And but not that's not a requirement, right? Because I want to speak in Spanish, right? So but he did have pretty good English, though. He just did, because he used to spend time in the States. And so anyway, but that's two connections, right, that you make just in asking for directions to the pizza place. And if your Spanish is at a higher level, it's respecting the culture. It's respecting where you are. So I will always say, learn Spanish, so that even if you're asking for directions, you're ordering at the pizza shop, you're talking to the street vendors, whether it's, you know, buying food in the street or buying like clothing in the street. These are opportunities to make connections, to talk to locals and things like this. And when you are able to speak Spanish, I also think that, you know, now, so here's a real thing. I remember when I was in Chile, and there were some things that I felt really nervous to do because of my Spanish level. For example, 2 examples. I remember I felt nervous about, I was on my way to a party, right? And someone was telling me how to get there, but I had a headache. And they were like, okay, well, for your headache, just stop into one of the stores and ask them to give you some medicine for a headache. I felt so nervous about this because I'm like, how I'm gonna say that? What I'm gonna say, right? And but I went on because my head was hurting so bad. I went on in there and I asked for it the best way that I could. They understood, and they gave me the medicine. I paid for it, and I went on and took that, right? But it's things like that that sometimes you may not do because of your Spanish level. You may miss out on like opportunities for mingling with locals, building relationship with locals because you don't feel confident in your Spanish level. There was another time, this lady, she was a girl that was going to the school with me. And she was like, oh yeah, there's the bakery down the street. I go there and get like croissants or like this chocolate bread, whatever she was getting. She said, when you go there, when you're walking past, go ahead and stop in there and see what they got. And I never stopped in. And it was because of my Spanish level. It's like, I don't really know what to say when I get in there, right? And I really don't want to feel crazy by pointing to everything, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Nowadays, whether I know, whether I not, or whether I don't know, I'm more open to going in. Every once in a while, especially if you're by yourself, every once in a while you still feel nervous about it. It's like, okay, I need to get my clothes washed, but what do I do? What do I say when I go to the lavanderia, right? What am I going to say? But listen, the more you learn, the more confident you're going to be. And the more confident you are, the more experiences you're going to have, because you're not going to have this nervousness that stops you, like how I felt when I was didn't really want to go in the store to get the headache medicine, or didn't want to stop to the bakery to get this chocolate croissant or whatever it was. But the more you learn, the more you're going to be more confident to do these things. Now, I will share this with you. I remember, because now, remember, I went to Chile to attend an immersion program, right? And I recommend this for you. Listen, you can Google immersion program for Arabic, right? Immersion program for Spanish. And they will tell you, hey, thank you, Sunkiss, for coming in and tapping the screen. And they will tell you of programs that you can take part in other countries when you want to learn the language in a school type of setting, in a school setting with other people learning the language. And then what happens is, in an immersion program, you will learn the language in the morning. And then in the afternoon, you and the other students will do things together to help solidify what you have learned. And so, let me say this. When doing it, you may not think that the learning is going anywhere. You may think, oh my gosh, this is so hard. We keep saying this over and over again, but it's not sticking. It's not, I still don't know. I still don't understand. That's what your current mind will tell you. But let me tell you, we have a subconscious mind, and I point to the back of my head because I always think of my subconscious as being in the back. But anyway, we have a subconscious mind, y'all, that is open, that is alert, and that is taking in things that we don't even know that is taking in. Because let me tell you about something that happened to me when I was in Chile. It's a very small thing, but it's a very real thing that could happen to you as you are learning a language and as you are being in a country, being immersed in that culture, in that language. I remember in Chile, they had the metro system, right? And I love taking the metro system, public transportation. And I remember being on that metro system, and I knew how to navigate it, but it was only because I was watching the signs on the metro. And then you see the stations, the name of the stations. Whenever you go from one station to the next, the name of the station is always there. So I remember being able to see the name of the stations in the metro itself, and also when I'm on the train, being able to see the signs. So that's how I always navigated it. But one day I was sitting in my seat, not trying, and the audio is on, but it's on in Spanish. So whatever is being said, if you don't understand Spanish, you're not going to know, right? And that was me. I was there to learn Spanish, but I really didn't know it, but I was learning it, and the process seemed so slow, right, for learning Spanish. But I do remember being on the metro, and at the very last station, I live near station Salvador, right? And so I remember sitting there, and I heard La próxima estación, Salvador. And I was like, oh, I was amazed. because for the first time, I wasn't like trying to listen hard for it. I wasn't trying to understand. In my mind, I was like, I ain't never gonna listen. I ain't never gonna understand this, right? So I wasn't even trying to. But as I sat there, I heard that come in, La próxima estación, Salvador. And I was like, oh my gosh, she just said the next station is Station Salvador, which is my station. And you guys, when I tell you, it's just like it fell on me. It just literally fell on me that I heard it and understood it. And I said, oh my gosh, I cannot believe that I just heard that for the first time. I've been hearing it for 2 weeks now, or for a month, because I was staying there for like 2 months. I've been hearing it all month. I never understood what she was saying. And now today, out of all days, when this lady makes this announcement on the train, I understood it, right? And they say, and this is very true, once you hear it and understand it one time, you'll always be able to hear it and understand it again. Right? And that is the beauty of learning Spanish in a Spanish-speaking country, or any language in that country, being able to hear it, understand it for the first time, and now every time you hear it again, you know it. And that is how it builds. That is why I am super excited about moving to Mexico and learning Spanish, because I know I'm a B1 right now. I know it's going to crank up when I get there, right? But you all can do the exact same thing. All you got to do is look up the programs. The programs are out there. And now you may think you about to run into a SCAM. I know when I was looking at the program for Chile, I thought it was a SCAM. I did. And I tried to do so much research, but the research was limited. And I was like, okay, after a while, I was like, you know what? Let me just do it. And I hope this ain't no SCAM, right? But it turned out to not be a SCAM. It turned out to be amazing. And so I actually went back a second time. In fact, the first school that I went to, they actually hit bankrupt when the Rona hit, right? And so there was another school that was willing to accept what I had already paid to the other school. So my payment didn't go to waste. I was still able to attend an immersion program by another school that accepted my payment. And so, yeah, I had an amazing time. So if you guys are interested, maybe if you're not ready to move to another country, maybe you're interested in taking an immersion program in another country, because after Spanish, y'all, my next thing is Arabic. And so I would love to partake in an immersion program. And it could be Egypt. If Bay is willing to go to Egypt with me, it could be Egypt. Okay. It could be Saudi Arabia or something like this. If Bay is willing to go. Okay. It's going to depend on that. But anyway, but yeah, there's opportunities out here, and I am more than willing to share with you whatever information that I know about it, because it has really been such a blessing to me. It has been a huge blessing to me. And so if you guys want to know of it, want to learn more about it, I can definitely help you with that one. So any questions, right? Any questions about immersion program, any questions about moving abroad to Mexico, about getting the passport, which I have a document for that if you want. It's a free download. But if they're not, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up, as I've been on here for a while tonight. Oh yeah, I've been on here for a while tonight. So I'll wrap up in about 5 more minutes. But if there's no questions, then yes, you guys, look, you see my content, you know what I'm about. I love travel, right? And so if there is some place that you are wanting to go to, you can let me know. Maybe I can get you a quote to go there, right? Also, I am moving abroad. So if you have questions about moving abroad, specifically from Mexico, I had one lady, she was asking about moving abroad to Jamaica. And so what happened is that I just simply referred her to someone else on this platform that knows more about moving to Jamaica than myself. So if you're looking at moving abroad, but maybe a different country than Mexico, you can ask me. And if I know of someone else who I can connect you with, then I will. And so traveling and moving abroad are the 2 things that I am doing right now. And so if you have any questions on these, feel free to reach out to me. Other than that, you guys, I will be about to end this live. But I thank you so much for coming in. The taps have made it to 15K taps. Thank you so much. Laser, thank you so much. You always rock it out, right? You're biggest supporter. Always rock it out, Laser. I thank you. So if that's it and that's all, then let me go ahead and end the live. So let you guys know how we end the live over here. We end the live. I got you. So I know. We end the live over here with this. This is Psalms 19, chapter 19, verse 14. Let the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, my strength and my redeemer. You guys have a great night. Amen.